think I must admit the fact that I'm super stoked about the topic that's coming up for all of you right now, because we're talking actually about how a digital first strategy forces banks to rethink and redraw structures and processes. While we do see this kind of a transformation happening across so many industries, I think specifically with regard to how banks are rethinking and redrawing their processes, it's time to find that out. We have with us none other than Ankur K. Tripathi, Chief Information Officer, AU Small Finance Bank, who will be sharing his thoughts with all of us and leading the session. Spearheading the session, we have with us Vaishali Kasturi, Head of Enterprise Business India and South Asia, Enterprise, Mid-Market and Global Business, Amazon Internet Services. So let's find out all about creative destruction coming your way right here, right now.
Thank you, Kavya, for the introduction, and I am delighted to welcome Ankur Tripathi, who is the CTU of AU Small Finance Bank. A very warm welcome to you, Ankur, and it's my pleasure to be talking to you about your bank and what the future looks like. So let me kick off, Ankur, with my first question. The pandemic has forced organizations across multitude of industries to consider technology to be a very important part of their transformation and to take a digital first approach. AU Small Finance Bank has been ahead of the curve in adopting this strategy in your path to becoming a universal bank. So can you explain a little bit to us about what were your considerations when you adopted this digital first strategy? What was your journey like and what is your approach?
Thanks, Vaishali, for first of all for inviting me. As far as our technology approach and being digitally native or digital first, probably we are a fairly young bank, just about 5 years old. So from day one itself, we have invested on our technology platforms, looking at a long-term view, considering the bank's technology landscape could be far more enriching, far more rewarding in 20, 30 years from now. So from that viewpoint, we've been investing from day one, and it's just about 5 years. So we don't have any legacy challenges of having legacy mainframe systems that you need to work on. Obviously, last 2 years of pandemic has accelerated our overall technology adoption, technology delivery, bringing in our digital outlook together to a far more extent. In last couple of years, from an applications point of view, we upgraded entirely our mobile banking platform with 0101, which comes with banking, lifestyle, and whatnot services along with onboarding. We invested in our video banking platform. We launched our credit card as a product. Now we are working on other propositions like BNPL and all that. These are all customer centric, and then other than our mobile app, which is our mobile first channel, the approach that we have taken up, we have all that conversationally AI enabled chatbot, WhatsApp banking, all those things available. We've invested significantly on our internal digitization as well, how our internal workforce is digitally equipped when they interact with any of the user customers, or probably in general anyone in the field, how they can digitally explain about the product offerings, benefits, get them onboarded without use of paper or a signature or verification and whatnot. Because the pandemic, interacting physically is still manageable, but signing on a paper and all those things was kind of had become a taboo. So that has given us a good kind of strength from offering our products in an assisted manner, as well as in a self onboarding on our digital channels.
Yeah.
And this journey has just started. Probably we'll continue to build on from here.
Yeah, so that's very interesting. Like you said, Ankur, that you're just a 5-year-old bank, so you're not, saddled with old legacy kind of approach. But at the same time, I'm sure you will have on-premises workloads, digital. You will try and do more of cloud. and getting it all together. But I think I really liked what you said, that digital is not just about being digital for your customers. It is about the experience of the people working at AU, even for them, whether it's internal applications for your employees, whether it's the way they communicate with their customers. I think the entire experience of customer and employees really what truly defines digital. So that's a very, very interesting takeaway, Ankur. I'll move to my next question. As financial institutions move to the cloud, there are always going to be some challenges that they're going to sort of come across, even in terms of their strategy. So how can they compete with neobanks and collaborate with new age fintechs to truly give sort of the best experience to their customers?
So, Vaishali, again, competing with neobanks and fintechs is not the point to my view. Obviously, we have to give all the credits to various scaled-up fintechs, neobanks, in terms of agility and the experience that they have delivered, and they have actually challenged financial services to be, let's say, on their toes. So, with due credit, but it is more of a collaboration and partnership approach, right? So we are obviously open to all the meaningful partnerships, which gives us some kind of win-win scenario, both for fintechs, neobanks, as well as for the bank. Bank in the end is a regulated entity, right? And have been supervised, monitored by the regulator. So whatever is being allowed in that purview, we cannot do any kind of fancy activities along with, let's say, customers' deposit data, transactions, and whatnot. So if wherever it is feasible, we are kind of building up. And secondly, continuing to the point that we don't have much of a legacy issue. Team is pretty young, pretty agile, energetic. So we are also focusing on building all those agile DevOps practices, building the same kind of customer experiences, and trying to give similar experience that various fintechs or deep tech or the various neobanks are trying to offer in much more, let's say, comprehensive manner. So for that matter, all those fintechs or neobanks might be offering a single product, let's say, be it a credit card, be it a savings account or a fixed deposit. But bank, we have a bouquet of products being offered in a single app. So if, let's say,
Yeah.
experience and the engagement is at par, obviously a user would go for more feature-rich application to transact with, rather than having 100 different apps for 100 different things.
Yeah.
So that is
No,
that is the approach that we are taking at this point in time.
Yeah. No, I like the idea. It's collaboration rather than competition. I think that's how do you use the best of fintechs and integrate them so that you are an integrated universal bank. And the second point, like you mentioned, is that you're not a single service product line like many fintechs are. You want to be a bouquet of products so that when the customer logs into your app, no matter what he wants, under this umbrella, he should be able to get, rather than pick and choose. He should be able to pick and choose rather than say, this is the only product like a BNPL or early salary or whatever you may want to call it, but everything is available in that bouquet of your app. I think a pretty awesome vision, Ankur. I'm going to move to my next question, which is very, very, again, very topical about data, right? We can never get enough data, and nor can, even when we have enough data, we can't get enough insights. So my question is more around your, massive digital data that you're collecting across your super app, AU 0101, your video KYC platform, your brick and mortar branches, which would have data, your feet on the street, folks who are collecting data. So I'm sure you have a lot of data. I think the question is more around, how do you extract insights out of it? How do you plan to utilize this data as a part of your technology roadmap to become, and your vision to become a pan-India universal bank in the next couple of years?
So interesting point. I'll give you context. So the way we are defining our digital strategy is As you rightly mentioned, we have all the digital channels, and it is kind of complemented by on ground or brick and mortar presence. So the strategy is we would be a pan India bank in terms of our physical reach, but penetration on those physical location, each city, each district, we would do it through digital channels. Through, so for that matter, location like Mumbai or Delhi or Bangalore, we might not be opening thousands of branches. We would be opening a few branches so that there is a physical presence, but all the customers can transact digitally. Now, when this happens, uh, data becomes obviously it gets kind of accumulated, and banking again is a gold mine of data, right? So, and that is a single source of truth. As a customer, you might give any kind of information when you're getting onboarded. For that matter, let's say you are using a various apps on your phone, you might give a random number or your name or your age or whatever. But if you're opening a bank account, you'll give precise name, age, address, location, your multiple addresses, everything. So that is the golden record of data, right? And so is your financial transaction. Wherever you are transacting, your transaction is hitting in a bank. It is the ultimate truth. Now you can process it, you can do all kind of AI, ML, data analytics, build up various models and come up with actual customer profile, who exactly that person is, how much he earns, where does he transact, where does he travel and whatnot, and pretty much very beautifully correlate his entire lifetime and give the next best offers, products and whatnot, right? So we are also working on those thought process. At this point in time, we are implementing a cloud native data lake platform, and bringing all those data points at a single location in a data lake, building data marts, building analytical models, marts, and then visualization. So that exercise, as we speak, is currently going on, which would uh, help us fulfilling our aspirations of stitching all our digital assets, digital properties in a
together.
seamless manner.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to hearing more about that data lake in the future, Ankur. But again, what stayed with me is that, if you look at various ways that consumers interact today, when it comes to a banking transaction, whether you're doing a KYC, opening an account, it is essentially that financial, because the transaction is financial, you will get data which is authentic because you cannot complete your transaction. If you're transacting anywhere else, it is just a transaction. Whereas when it's banking, you are the single
That's right.
source of truth. So absolutely. And then that will enable you to dedupe, stitch data together, consumer interacting with you through multiple channels, perhaps in the future in multiple languages as well, to be able to have an authentic view of that customer and what he or she needs, even if he's interacted through a variety of channels, and make it more personal, hyper personalization, and so on and so forth. So interesting road ahead there, Ankur. Let me come to my final question, which is again a very important topic around financial inclusion. And so, in India, we have a population of 1.3 billion plus people. A large, but even then, there are a large number of people. Apparently, more than 400 odd million people who are outside of the financial services net. And as per a 2017 report by the World Bank, these people are completely financially excluded. They don't have access to executing, financial transactions. So, question is, how has AU Small Finance Bank leveraged technology, including, your video KYC and a variety of other tools towards driving more financial inclusion in the country?
Again, very relevant question, and the essence of AU Bank's existence, because small finance bank licenses by given by the regulator to drive financial inclusion, and to our point, we've been sticking to and Internally, we call it a formal Robinhood model, where we take deposits from the big cities like metros and lend it to the tier 3, tier 4 kind of cities where population is more financially excluded. So that has been our model we are working on. And to formally drive from financial inclusion, we've taken 4 5 initiatives. When I spoke about our various digital channels, we also understand that there is a customer segment, I mean, barring digitally native customers who are always hooked onto the smartphone, there is customer segment who's migrating onto their smartphones, and plus there is a specific customer segment who is still on feature phone kind of a scenario. So there is a team based out of each key locations, which help customers move on to the digital platform. So let's say a customer, whenever he walks in to a AU Bank branch, there is a digital literacy counselor who would walk up to that particular customer, update him about various channels that bank offers, how they can do specific transactions at their convenience, at their time, using any of those channels. There also, we've implemented, all our branches are biometric transactions enabled. Anyone can just withdraw or deposit money through their biometric. All our ATMs, 50% of our ATMs accept cash. So these are the things were already there. To add on to that, last year, about 7 8 months back, we launched our video banking platform, which is probably at the scale would be first in the industry. Uh, you mentioned about video KYC. KYC is just one aspect of that, where we onboard customers, and it is a regulatory thing. Pretty much all financial services, all banks are offering it. Now we reimagined the entire video banking setup, where it is a co-located unit in Navi Mumbai. We have about 200 odd video bankers at this point in time. Some of them engaged in onboarding, the rest all are into the servicing thing. Each video banker, other than cash or check transaction, can operate as a branch. So if you have, let's say, you want to change your mobile number, you want to change your address, you want to add a nominee to your account, you're not a digital native customer, you don't want to use your app or bank's app or internet banking, you can just log in, connect to a video banker, authenticate yourselves using, let's say, some validation questions or face match and everything, get that transaction initiated. And it has been working beautifully well in terms of inclusion. We have been able to uh, help customers in this pandemic time, the lockdown, while they were sitting at their home. Retired customers, they wanted to update their mobile records, nominee and whatnot. Without coming to the branches, they've been able to interact and transact with the bank. It is started with that. Now a specific set of customer segment is getting used to it, because no one wants to go to the branch, right? Let's say you
Yeah.
could be a digitally native customer, but there are certain things, for that matter, mobile number update cannot be done on the mobile app due to risk constraints or whatever. But it can be done over a video call, because I am authenticating your photograph is there in the banking account. I can do a image match. I can ask all those validations things, check your location remotely, and get it updated. So these are the
Yeah.
initiatives that we have taken recently, and it is getting scaled up quite well.
No, just so good to hear that. I think the piece that really will stay with me, Ankur, as we wrap up is the Robinhood model, taking deposits from tier one cities and using that to drive loans and financial inclusion in the tier two, tier three cities. I think really, I mean, such a beautiful model, right? And I think the other piece is also critical. You mentioned video banking, that there are so many people who are new to banking, and that the moment you give them an app, you've sort of lost them. Many people don't even have a smartphone. So having people in the branches when you walk in to digitally educate you, I think you're not just educating that person, but then that entire family will then become digitally literate to transact with the bank, and hopefully the future account openers will then get comfortable. And I think the final piece about video banking, is, everybody knows how to click a button and get on a video chat, right? Whether it's through WhatsApp or your mobile app, that much I think mostly people can do. And then the rest, help having them guide them. It's as good as, 200, 300,000, as many people you scale. I think each one will then get you the ROI or the business of a traditional brick and mortar bank. So thank you so much, Ankur. I've really enjoyed talking to you. I've learned a lot during our conversation, and I wish you the very best in your journey towards a universal bank in helping drive digital literacy and financial inclusion, which is so very important for our country today. It's been a pleasure, Ankur.
Thanks, Vaishali. Likewise, a pleasure talking to you.
Well, indeed, what an endearing session, actually. A good mix of strategies, a good mix of shared experiences, as well as we managed to gather some interesting nuggets of thoughts as well from our speakers. So I do hope, just like me, I've been massively taking notes, by the way. I hope all of you are also enjoying that. But don't just restrict your notes to the books, but put them out on tweets as well using hashtag ET Digital Banking. On that note, it's also time for our next keynote session coming your way. But before that, once again, I'm going to urge you all to take some time off to connect with your peer members. Keep that networking going as well. We've created some beautiful networking rooms for all of you. Do take some time off to connect with our partner booths as well. And I hope you're making the most of the leaderboard points. Grab as many points as possible, and then you stand a chance to win some amazing Amazon vouchers. That's the plan. I think I wish I could have participated as well. But on that note, stay tuned as we will be back with our next keynote session coming your way in just a couple of seconds. Stay with us.